filmmakers with nothing in common. They thought they had it all figured out. They don't just follow the movies, they make them. Alexander Pavlak, Mario Silvas, and Jamal Alexander are the makers on film.
All right, welcome to another episode of Makers on Film. We have our resident director slash guy, Alex. We have our actor slash other brown man, Jamal, and then you have number one brown man, Mario, sound mixer, Californian, living in the world of fleas right now. So
I'm a light mocha, sir.
The fact that you know your mocha color really distresses me, man.
That's why I know I'm a mocha color.
I guess just me being colorblind, it's more along lines of,
yeah.
Well, I'm not black or white. I'm beige. All right.
Okay, so let's not bury the lead here. Tell us more about the fleas, and does this have anything to do with your cats?
Yes.
Oh, the saga of Mario's cats continues. Go ahead, tell us.
So, my neighborhood is really shitty, and the lady that takes care of it is not my landlord. It's the lady that my landlord put in charge of taking care of our facility.
So she's the manager.
That's even giving her too much credit.
Okay.
Let me put it this way. Our hot water heater was leaking gas for, I don't know, before I moved in. So, and I've been living here for about a year, almost 2 years actually. And so I had the gas company come out, my roommate. She's worried. She's like, oh, I smelled gas the other day. I'm like, okay, that's not good. So I called the gas company, and the guy comes out. And it's like 2 a.m. He comes out, and he puts soap on the tubes and everything. And he's like, oh, yeah, there's a leak. And he looks underneath, and he goes, whoever did repairs on this didn't know what they were doing, because American brand, or this particular version of water heater, they're reverse threaded. So you have to tighten it left instead of right. He's like, this is an easy way to tell who's an amateur and who's not. And he's like, whoever installed it did it backwards, so it's constantly leaking gas no matter what. Awesome. So that same lady is watering the grass around our houses and like just everything, just doing a shoddy job. And mind you, the grass looks like a bad comb over. Like it's really badly taken care of.
Well, I'm surprised she's doing any kind of grass watering, because don't you guys have a drought out there in California?
Oh yeah, no, we do.
Okay.
It's so bad that the lakes around, in and around like where I'm at, Ventura, they're down to like, one of them is down to 20% what it normally should be.
Wow.
Yeah, like you can physically see how much the water has dropped, and there are like boats that are stranded in lakes now that normally open up to the ocean. So it's actually getting really bad.
Okay, so anyway, continue. Your grass looks like a bad comb over.
Right. So with all the grass being so wet and the ground being so moist, it just promotes fleas. Well, when you're walking home, you just walk through the grass and never mind. So at some point in time, either my roommate or myself or various other person that just sleeps on our couch brought in fleas. I woke up this morning and my foot looked like a leprosy patient. Like it was just covered in bumps and red. It was just terrible. So right now I have probably about half of my room disheveled, covered in borax, which apparently kills fleas and their eggs. This goes out to all of our audience members. And I'm like, I can feel my legs getting bit right now as I'm talking.
How come you don't go out, get yourself a flea collar, and just wear it around your ankle?
Because they don't make them in my size.
They're adjustable. You put it on and then you snip off the extra.
No, they don't make them in my size. Trust me.
You've tried it?
Yeah.
I would throw some duct tape on it or something. I would not be playing around with fleas.
Oh god, it's so frustrating.
I did bed bugs for like a year and a half.
Oh, Jesus.
Bed bugs can survive for 2 years on one bite.
Seriously.
So they can bite you and then just wander off to some other part of the house and just like chill. And then when they get hungry again in 2 years, they come out. So it is like almost impossible to get rid of them. And any exterminator who'd come out to do it will charge you up the ass because you have to spray literally everything because they could hide anywhere because they don't have to be in the bed at all times.
So yeah, that's the kind of hell I'm living in.
Right. So, let that be a lesson to you. Don't overwater your grass and, cut it regularly. Let's move away from insects and water shortages and dilapidated buildings.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I zoned you two out like after you started talking about bed bugs and stuff like that. I was actually on CNN and just got something really medically fascinating. Have you guys seen?
Penis?
No. Well, no. That's on a different website. It's on a tiny URL.
I think officially what the doctors call what Jamal has is a clitoris.
Yeah.
Just an engorged
Well,
clitoris.
it's funny you bring that up because I was actually just reading headlines on CNN, and I just caught my first glimpse of Caitlyn Jenner.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, her or her. I guess it's her now. Her
yeah.
What is it? A Vogue issue or something cover?
Yeah, I'm having is that just a lot of plastic surgery, or is that actually what happens when you start taking hormones?
A little bit of hormones. Yeah, it's a little bit of hormones, but a lot of plastic surgery.
Yeah, because apparently he's done. He did hormone therapy for like a year prior to even getting the divorce from
whatever.
Yeah, Kardashian mom.
Yeah, whatever Kardashian.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Whatever J Kardashian. They're all J names.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, whatever.
So apparently he was doing like hormone therapy for like a year prior to that, but didn't tell anybody. And then when he finally, got the divorce and like said, I'm gonna do this, I think he just like started doubling his dosages, or I don't know what it was specifically, but it was like day to night. He took like so much estrogen that he just womaned almost immediately, and then of course the surgery for the breast, his jawline, I think his shoulders too. I don't really, or something with his chest. Yeah,
that's the one that kind of creeps me out the most because like the arms, they kind of like they're not man arms anymore. I mean, they're like really slim, like they're feminine arms now.
You just stop working out and you stop basically doing anything for yourself, and your arms will get like that. There are a lot of drag queens do that. They will not lift anything up because they don't want to get any kind of muscle or definition to their arms.
Yeah.
This is I when I saw the thing, I'm like, is there another Jenner out there? No,
that's him. Yeah, and he got like a bunch of plastic surgery a couple of years ago, and it was on the show and everything, and everybody was making fun of him, saying that he got botched plastic surgery. But in retrospect, it looks like he did that purposely because at that point he knew he was doing the transformation.
Yeah.
The chin thing too. I mean, her head looks completely. I mean, it looks like it's been reshaped completely. Like there used to be a clip.
I mean,
there's a.
You have to understand too that a lot of that is hair lighting and makeup. That you can use makeup to recontour the face to make it look different. Again, I see that on like RuPaul's Drag Race all the time. These guys look day and night different from being made up and being in their boy persona. So yeah, there's lighting and makeup and hair that's in effect there as well, because his hair isn't that full and lush. It's kind of stringy, and he's kind of losing his hair a little bit. So that's either a wig, or they airbrushed it, or they filled it out with some extensions or something.
I should make it a point to say I'm not criticizing or just or bad mouthing all these changes. I'm kind of fascinated by how different. I mean, she looks more female than extremely so, more than male now. Like
Well, yeah.
I've seen people who've gone through the same process, and you can always sort of tell that they used to be male or female or whatever. I've never seen work done this well. I mean, maybe that's just the benefits of Hollywood and Hollywood budgets. I don't know. But good for her though. Good for her though.
And I've read an article today that somebody was complaining about, and the same thing I said on the show not too long ago was that, he has all the money in the world. He has this great support group. Who cares that he had a sex change? Who really cares?
Right.
And of course he's going to look great because he has all this money to dump into his transformation.
This is a tough thing to go through. I've seen it firsthand. I have a coworker who went through this, and it was a rough ride.
Yeah, exactly. And your coworker's story, I think, is way more heart-touching because they're sacrificing everything, including their paycheck, which they're probably living hand to mouth, to do whatever it is for them to feel like a woman.
Oh, wait. That's one of the really bright spots about this, like really good, restore your faith in humanity type thing. When she was still a he made it known, like on the internet, that I feel miserable as who I am. I as what I am right now. I need to be somebody else. And this amazing thing happened. That community actually reached out and did like a Kickstarter type thing and paid for the transition for him.
The dude you work with?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That is straight up, hope in humanity type stuff right there.
Well, yeah, because a lot of people do realize like there are a lot of people who were born a male in a female's body and vice versa. I mean, there are so many different classifications nowadays that we weren't able to openly say, 10 years ago, just because there was no definitive classification for it. So when someone who is going through something like that, I mean, shit, my old boss at one of the jobs I used to work at, a lot of his friends and a lot of people that I know now because of him, they were transgendered, cisgendered, if I'm not mistaken on how to say that, and various other states. I can't even remember at this point in time. Like, they would have like the gay pride parades here in town, or they'd go to the ones in LA, or the one in San Fran, which, mind you, the San Fran one is fucking phenomenal. So much.
Have you been there?
Yeah, I did it once.
All right.
It's just fun. Like, as a straight male going in, at that point in time, I didn't know too much about any of that. The lifestyle was not mine, I guess, is the easiest way of saying it. Just going in and learning, and everybody's just so accepting. Of course, you have those dick people. I mean, there was some guy that was there that was like just openly jerking off, like just going to town on himself.
What?
So yeah, you'll get those weird people, but
right,
I mean,
right.
there were a lot of people who were very supportive, and because of knowing my boss, there are a couple of people who I know here in town who, honestly, I had no idea was a dude, but looked like a female, and was so convincing that a lot of the people that were in and around there's this one really big. There's literally only one gay bar in town, so there are a lot of people who they would cover each other, like, oh, don't go to the bar on this day because that's when all of these people come out and they'll take advantage of you. Or I randomly got a text one morning at like 4 a.m. It's like, hey, so and so is drunk. Like, it wasn't a number I didn't even know, but it's like, hey, one of your friends is drunk. Would you mind coming down and picking him up because he doesn't have enough money for a taxi? Blah blah blah. I'm like, who the fuck is this? And they're like, oh, your friend just told me to call Mario, and like go through his phone and like call you, and so here I am. I was like, holy shit! So like they all, because it's such a small community within itself, they learn how to take care of each other more than any of us ever would take care of another person. It's because they've all gone through those strifes.
It's so cool that they're willing to be there for each other like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, just the price of something like, for instance, the thing with my the coworker I have,
Yeah.
or had, uh, just just the price alone on a procedure like that, an extensive procedure like that, for folks just out of the kindness of their hearts to band together and to help, this person actually, survive is the word I'm going to use, because I don't know how. And I said this to people who are less supportive. It's better that he did this than, because a lot of people check out long before they ever realize that.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but going as what Mario said, the reason why that community is like that sometimes is because they realize that nobody else is going to take care of them. Nobody else is going to look out for them. So you kind of have to look out for yourself and for your own. And unfortunately, that is the case, that we don't, watch over our fellow man. I mean, I do a rideshare thing, and I picked up last night. My last fare were these two women who were coming home from the bar. One of which was completely hammered, to the point that she couldn't remember the conversation as we were having it, and the other one was like, okay, she only had a couple of drinks. So the sober woman looks at her drunk friend and says, do you want to stay at my house or do you want to go home? And the drunk friend's like, I want to go home. So she looks at me and she's like, okay, we're going to do 2 stops. So she directs me to the first stop, and the sober friend gets out and is like, okay, here's her address. I'm giving it to you because I don't trust her to take you to the right place. All right, good luck. Text me when you get home. And she leaves. And I'm like, how do you leave your friend who's this drunk in the back of a car of a stranger? Even though it's a taxi service, had I not been a nice guy and care about my job, I could have done anything to her that I wanted, and she probably would not have remembered in the morning.
Right.
So
Yeah,
it's like that was her friend, and she kind of abandoned her. So I mean, what is she going to do with a complete stranger?
and that's a little thing too to do. Just wait another 15 or pay the extra for however long it takes to go there then back.
They
Do little things like that we could do for one another, but we don't.
Yeah, and their houses weren't that far apart. It would have probably been another $2-3 added to her bill.
And I'm saying all this as somebody who's worked in retail for like a decade now. I am not a people person anymore. I work at the kind of retail place that gets like the welfare crowd and the dropouts and stuff. So I'm not a people person. But if I'm saying that things about like a community coming together or doing right things for by your fellow man, then maybe there's something to that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's move on. Sci-fi is actually showing science fiction shows again.
Thank God. I mean,
Are they really?
There was a time when they were actually pretty good at that.
Yeah. For like the past 2-3 seasons, they got a whole slew of new sci-fi shows. They got that medical show that they have. I forget what that one's called. They got
Pandemic or something like that.
Something like that. And then they got Z Nation, which is supposed to be the zombie TV show for people who don't like The Walking Dead.
Huh.
It's a little cheaper done. It's a little more tongue in cheek. It's actually not too bad. It's got DJ Quills in it, which I actually find kind of interesting, and he plays the military guy, which I'm like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
I can almost see that. He does.
Not all military guys look like Stallone.
No, he's actually in an Arctic base all alone, communicating them via radio. So he's almost like a day player. He could have knocked out all his stuff in like probably 2-3 weeks, and then they could have come in and did all the stuff with the other people. So he looks the part of like a computer analyst or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's actually not too bad a show.
DJ Quails looks the part of a bird most of the time. So
this is
true. No, he's a funky looking human being.
Yeah. Remember when Sci-Fi was actually pretty good at putting together like sci-fi shows like Battlestar Galactica?
Yeah, they've been still doing that, but the person who was actually in charge of Sci-Fi up until like 2-3 years ago was a woman who didn't like science fiction.
That makes absolutely no sense.
I know, right? And I have no idea why she was put in charge of it, but she was, and that's how come we have wrestling on the Sci-Fi Network.
Honestly, she was probably just like Like someone like, oh, she does great at her job, and she's a content editor or something like that. She's been doing it for 20 years. Well, someone's like, oh, she's looking for, or I know someone who's great at management work. And it was probably something like that.
Yeah.
It,
That's it, I don't like that, and I don't like what's happening to Spike as of late. Spike used to be a dude's channel. Now they're starting to turn into a TBS or something.
Are they really?
Yep.
but they used to be the national network, and then they changed to Spike, which was funny because right before they changed to Spike, they did like a week-long marathon of all the Star Trek TV shows,
Yeah.
Nice.
and it confused me because I was like, what? When did Hillbillies like Star Trek?
Spike has been kind of like for all guys, like nerdy guys during the day, and then like hillbillies during the night when they do shows about oil riggers and
Oh,
lumberjacks.
do they do shows like that?
Yeah, they eventually went very Discovery
Mm,
with their wildest catch or whatever, deadliest catch. I'm sorry.
yeah. Okay, so you guys ready to start the show?
I thought we were started, but okay.
Why don't we go ahead with our main subject, Mr. Duke? Why don't you go ahead with this, Mario?
The Duke-a-thon.
Right. So Bill Duke, good actor and everything. So he actually has a huge producing, decent writing career as well as a decent directing career. So our topic this week was Bill Duke, who not only directed Sister Act 2, he was also Back in Habit is another one that he directed, which was another one that I saw this week. Honestly, his directing career isn't something that a lot of people go out and seek. I was asking a couple of my friends who graduated from film school, not only here in town, but back in Arizona, and not many people knew that he directed or had a prolific directing career.
Now, did they know who he was by name, or did you have to explain him to them?
I had to explain it to them. My go-to was, the black guy in Predator. Oh, him! Yeah, him.
The other black guy, because the black guy in Predator is Carl Weathers. He's the other black guy.
That's right. The other black, the guy with the MP5s, the one that goes, he's out there.
Yeah.
That guy. But no, most people understood what he was. He's prolifically known for Sister Act 2, Predator, and Deep Cover, which was with Goldblum and Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh yeah, Lawrence Fishburne, yeah.
Yeah, those are the ones that he's most prolific for. Great actor, great acting career. He's really good. So this week we decided to, pay a little homage to him, to a director who is underrated, to an actor, to a producer, to a writer who is very underrated and does very, very good work. A lot of his work that I've seen, a lot of work that I did watch this week was mainly in the Black community. For the most part, I don't want to say specifically, but he does a lot of work in the Black community. I watched his documentary, Dark Girls, which I'll go into after everybody else said they.
I actually watched that one too.
Okay, yeah. So I watched Sister Act 2, I watched Predator, and I watched Dark Girls. I was actually finishing off Dark Girls right before we started this podcast because I wanted that to be the most fresh in my mind because it's on Netflix, which is really awesome for him, and it actually covers a really heavy topic that I grew up knowing about as well. A lot of my friends who were Black, African American, what have you, and it was a Black and Mexican communities where I grew up in. So you would have the occasional white guy come in and be like, oh, fucking, nigger, fucking like spick, Mexican, blah, blah, blah. And they would just start just going at it. And you would have like people who'd never known each other before. It's like, dude, that's not cool. Like, you can't say that. A, and B, we're going to whip your ass. Like, just for no reason, people would cover each other. However, 20 years ago, no one would ever have done something like that at all for one another, unless it was someone specifically from their family or their community, neighbors kind of thing.
Jamal, do you want to go first?
I had a Bill Duke-a-thon. I watched Predator, and I also watched the other great Schwarzenegger movie he was in, Commando.
Son of a bitch, he was in that.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, and I knew this because they came out back-to-back years, and he was, both of them were Schwarzenegger movies. So when I was a kid, I just thought maybe they're buddies in real life.
Well, Jesse Ventura shows up a couple of times in Schwarzenegger films. So
Oh,
yeah.
no, I thought the same thing about those two as well. Like maybe they're buddies in real life. The Predator thing, the Predator movie. So even when you're a kid, I could tell that Arnold Schwarzenegger was something else before he was an actor. Yeah, he's not a classically trained actor by any stretch of the mind, but he was your hero nevertheless. But I'm watching, even as a kid watching Predator, it gets to Bill Duke's monologue in that movie, the scene where he's lamenting about his friend who's just passed away, Ventura's character. I can't remember the name, and it's this long monologue, and I'm going, that guy's actually an actor. Like he actually knows what he's doing. Like he's been trained to do this. The rest of the cast, especially Ventura and that weird Native American dude. God, what was his name?
Sonny Landham.
What was his name in the movie?
Billy.
Okay, so it's an action movie. You know what you're getting. You're not expecting real like emotion and conflict and stuff like that. And then it gets the Bill Duke scene, this one little scene in that movie that reminds you, hey, there's actually better acting out there than this. Like they actually went through the trouble of going out and finding somebody that actually knew what they were doing to kind of balance out the movie filled with nothing but meatheads.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And as I've grown older, I've come to appreciate that one little scene in that movie because I can only take so much of the gore and the violence of that movie before I need to be reminded why I care what's happening to the seven of them.
Yeah. Yeah, he pretty much is the heart and soul of that film. Him and kind of Carl Weathers. And Carl Weathers was still pretty young in his career then.
I think it's later, actually. There's some stuff that Carl Weathers was in that you guys would never know of. Like, did you know that Carl Weathers was in a movie with Harrison Ford?
Which one?
There was one movie. I can't remember the title right now, but it's a World War II flick. God, what was it? I'm not even going to look it over now. But Carl Weathers was good in that movie too. But even then, I'd have to say there's that kind of acting, and then there's the next kind that people actually get rewarded for. And it seemed like Bill Duke was the only person on that set that realized what that was.
Was it Rocky?
It was not Rocky.
Oh. Was it Rocky 2?
Nah, no. Yeah, Force 10 from Navarone. That's the title.
Okay. Streets of San Francisco. He's in an episode.
Oh, I didn't know that actually. Crazy.
And
he was in Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
So, listeners, in case you were wondering how easily we digress away from our stuff, this is how easily we digress away from our stuff.
Ooh, shiny.
See, this is why it takes me like.
Ooh, shiny.
This is why it takes me all week to edit this show.
Because I was just digressing and just. Oh, should I hear about that one hooker?
Hey,
by the way.
Go ahead.
That's the only thing that they were talking about. Like after that episode came out, like my friends were listening to the show, and that's the only thing they remembered from it. Like we spent a good 2 hours talking. How was the hooker the only thing you remember from that episode?
No, it wasn't hookers. It was strippers.
It was strippers.
No. Remember the highest paid hooker in Minneapolis?
Oh, that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, everybody wants to know the highest paid hooker.
They were more or less just fascinated that we actually took the time out of the show to talk about that, and that I looked it up.
How could you not want to know that?
I'm just saying, right? That was my argument. What does a $400 hooker look like?
Exactly. Yes.
Honestly, she wasn't too fugly.
Yeah, she's not.
Oh, come on! I mean, back in the day,
she wasn't terrible. She wasn't. Yeah, okay. She wasn't terrible.
Okay, remember she used the same makeup and lighting techniques that Bruce Jenner used to look like
Caitlyn Jenner.
Caitlyn Jenner now. Bruce
Really, that's the name of
yeah, but
the
like
artist form, the skater formerly known as Bruce.
yes, but Caitlyn Jenner used the same lighting and makeup techniques that the $400 an hour prostitute
No,
used.
no. The cat lead, formerly known as Bruce. Formerly known as Bruce. Sorry.
Anyway, back to Bill Duke.
Oh yeah. He was in Menace to Society. I get the feeling that this guy actually started off his career as like somebody that really did the classics, appreciated Shakespeare, things like that. But just for the way he looked and his size, ended up getting typecast into these roles that, while they have made him iconic, because who forgets Bill Duke from Predator? I mean, that's pretty much what everybody remembers him for. It's I would hope that he's happy with his career, because and not bitter about the fact that he's a classically trained actor who should have been doing Othello and Hamlet and all of this, and somehow ended up being blown up by aliens instead.
Honestly, he's laughing on his bed made of hundreds of thousands of dollars.
This is true.
He has the ability to just say, you know what, I can do those movies, and he can do them very well. In every single movie that was the mindless. I don't want to say mindless movie, but they were classics. I mean, shit, I watched Rocky 1, 2, I don't remember, in one of my film history classes. I watched Predator in one of my film history classes. Like, we had to dissect these characters and who they were and what they were doing, while while it was at the same time a sci-fi mindless horror movie, or not horror, but mindless
action,
sci-fi action movie kind of thing. I mean, these are classic movies. They brought about a certain genre of horror and sci-fi and thriller and action all at the same time, from people who were, I hate to say it, are like B-list actors now, but in their heyday were just god among insects.
Well, you have to remember too that probably Predator plays every day on some cable network. Commando plays every day on some, cable network. I mean, every time that plays on TV, Bill Duke gets a little richer.
And again, which allows him the ability to say, okay, I want to be able to do, a documentary, just such as the one that Alex and I watched. I'm not too sure if you watched it as well, Jamal.
I did not know.
Actually,
I know of it, but I have not.
Actually,
seen it.
I would recommend it. It's 100 minutes long. So
it's an hour 10 or something.
Hour 10.
Yeah,
whatever that math is.
70 minutes.
Thank you. I don't know how I got 100 in that. So it's really short and it's very succinct. It honestly, it makes you think about what made me, I should say, think about the type of personality that I was, and if growing up, if I were darker than what I am, how I would have felt. I happen to be lucky to grow up in the 90s where it was acceptable to be a different shade. Is the easiest way of putting it. I was brown growing up with a bunch of brown kids.
Yeah.
What if I were white growing up with a whole bunch of brown kids? And a lot of my really good friends back home, Alex included, are white people that grew up in a brown community or living in a brown community now. So it's almost like this reverse colorism is the word that they kept using in that movie. These white people getting ridiculed just because of the color of their skin, and it's nothing that they can control. It has no effect on who this person actually is. Alex is a decent person.
For
Jamal,
the most part.
Yeah, I mean, you're a son of a bitch. Don't get me wrong, but
thank you. I have a reputation to protect.
Clearly. And Jamal, I've only had nothing but good interactions with you as well. But
Love all of that too, is, buddy.
But all of that is meaningless nowadays. But 20 years ago, how would we three even be friends?
As somebody that grew up in a place where there was nothing but other people that looked like me, I'll put it this way: when somebody that looked different showed up where I live, because I'm for those of you who don't know, I'm from a third world country, basically. When somebody that didn't look like us showed up, we pointed it out.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from an island out in the Pacific. Have you ever seen King Kong?
Are you from Skull Island?
Yes.
From King Kong.
You haven't seen King Kong?
No, I said, are you from King Kong?
No, I'm from Skull Island, from King Kong. No. No, as somebody that grew up in a place where there was just other people that looked the exact same tone as you, like little variations were noticeable. Like I had this friend in high school who was for whatever reason, he's pure blooded, like from where we're from, but for whatever reason, he's just a little darker than the rest of us, and he used to catch hell for it.
Right.
I used to go to high school with this dude who was African American, but he was an albino.
I bet that led to some very weird interactions.
He understandably kind of had a chip on his shoulder because I'm sure he was ridiculed by everybody just for the way he looked.
Oh, I'm sure.
His skin tone being kind of unnaturally white, but still having the features of someone who's of African American descent. So imagine his life. Imagine how hard he had to fight every day that to keep up morale.
That's all in the attitude of the person. I'm sure there are folks like that. In fact, have you guys ever seen the movie Blood In, Blood Out?
Yeah, of course.
Remember, God, what was his name? White boy in the movie. They called him Wero throughout the whole thing.
Oh shit. Fucking James Franco. I don't remember his name.
Yeah, but you remember the character.
Yeah, I can see his face.
Yeah, he looked like a white guy. I mean, even he looked like a white guy, but he goes into prison and he's readily accepted. Why? Because he acts like everybody else, and he sort of has a better attitude about, he has a oddly optimistic for a hardened criminal outlook on life about his appearance. So yeah. I think a little bit of this is just your own attitudes towards yourself and how you take it and how you define yourself by it.
I don't know, obviously, and it has to be, but also at the same time, when you grow up in a community where racism and colorism and what have you, whatever you want to call it, was a thing and still is a thing. I mean, shit, I was shooting down in Compton. Yeah, Compton's an LA thing. I'm gonna go with Compton. We were shooting a music video short film to go with the new album that's coming out for this particular artist, and like the white girls that were on set, because they it's a film set, color means nothing to us, so we're all standing out there shooting, and it was the camera assistants, who happened to be very beautiful white women. You would just hear people driving by, "Hey girl, what up girl," blah, blah, and they're just going on and on and on. And I'm like, what the fuck is it? And it honestly made me step back for a second because I'm like, shit, that's right. Every single person that lives in this particular era is used to somebody who is full of pigment instead of a lack of pigment. And it still happens nowadays, but it's in, colorism and racism. It's or colorism more than anything else that I want to say. It's happening in more um, secluded sects of where we live. You go downtown LA. Of course, it's going to happen down there. You go 20 minutes just north of that. Correction, let me rephrase that. If you go 5 miles north of that, which could take you anywhere from 20 minutes to 4 hours, um, complete different mentality out there. So it's happening everywhere, but we just don't. It's not as rampant as it was. Coming from where you were originally from, Jamal, coming from where Alex is originally from, and coming from where I'm originally from. Jesus Christ, we're not all originally from where we live now. But we all get these different, because we have the luxury of being able to see what our worlds were when we were younger, and just the kind of crap that we had to grow up with. The three of us are able to say, okay, that was a shitty situation, but we know how to get past it. And this also ties back into the movie, the
documentary.
Thank you. That we watched earlier today, or whenever Alex watched, I should say. But it also feeds back into why is this still happening? This also relates back to what you were saying earlier, Jamal, with your ex coworker, if I'm not mistaken, if I understood that correctly, who was almost ostracized for just being who that person was. There's no point in us. There's no point in us be doing that to each other. We're all humans. We're all living a complex life every single day of our lives, just as complex as the next person. But we have no idea because we're so self-centric and so just egotistical about ourselves that we don't realize that you live a shitty life just as much as I do, or you live a life that's slightly better than mine, or you live a life that's way better than mine. But we all still hate each other for no reason whatsoever. I'm not saying we all hate each other, but we have that animosity as well at the same time for no reason, just because you're brown, you're white, you're black, you're ginger. I mean, nobody really likes gingers anyway. But
okay.
I think we can all agree to hate gingers.
Yeah, exactly.
They have no souls.
All right, viewers, if I offended anybody with my ginger comment, please email us your address and I'll send you $1.
Unless you're ginger.
Then you get 50 cents.
Yeah, but you don't count. It doesn't matter. You don't have a soul.
There's something I just thought of right now. The power of context. Like, there's two Jenners. Like, there's another one, like the young one who's on covers all the time. I can't remember her name. But yeah, there's a young Jenner on like always on magazine covers now. I see her every time I walk out into my store to work. Like, she's on this magazine cover or that magazine cover, and she's a beautiful girl. Don't get me wrong, she's absolutely beautiful. But by the end of this year, take all those covers, put them together, and then take the one Caitlyn Jenner cover that she's doing on the cover of Vogue. This is a transgender woman, probably the first ever to do a cover page for a major magazine. Context makes her stand out all that much more. I mean, it takes courage to do what she's done. And this is just me rambling here, but context. I just want to do a little thing about that. Never mind.
It's either Kylie Jenner or it's Kendall Jenner.
Whatever, but you get where I'm going with this, right?
Yeah.
Something very courageous is happening with that lady, and I'm very happy for her.
Oh yeah, it takes a lot of courage, even at his station in life, to her station in life, to come out and say this is how I'm going to be from now on. Get used to it. But again, he has a better support group than most.
Well, and what I'm saying is the other Jenner, it's just a photo cover.
Yeah.
With this Jenner, it means something.
Yeah, it's a coming out party.
This is the power of context, I guess. Anyway, back to the Bill Duke thing. Something else I just thought of at this moment right now. I was talking earlier about how he got typecasted into these roles where he's pretty much playing the tough, the guy that is always sort of like semi-villainish or full-on villainish in the Commando. You know who that reminds me of? Morgan Freeman. His big break was I forget the title of the movie. It was him and Christopher Reeve, and he's basically playing a pimp. Morgan Freeman, who starts off his career taking a Bill Duke role, somehow ends up getting Academy Award nominated roles after it, is able to do classic theater, is able to do all these things, while Bill Duke, for whatever reason, is still doing the typecasted roles. And I think that kind of plays a little bit into the colorism thing. What is so different about Morgan Freeman and Bill Duke? What is the glaring difference there? One of them...
Honestly, I'm going to have to say that is up to the producers themselves. They saw something in Bill Duke, and I'm not saying they're both great actors. However, I will openly admit that Bill Duke has a certain acting style comparatively to Morgan Freeman, as an example that you were given. Morgan Freeman has the range and the ability to go from pimp to drug seller to detective to God. And it's so much along the lines that in the industry it's all about luck. It's if you're in the right place at the right time, eating the right hamburger, you can get a job.
If you're Brad Pitt, if you're outside the right chicken shop in a chicken costume, and that's a true story, folks, look it up.
It definitely is.
Yeah, you can get discovered.
But you see what I'm saying is that Bill Duke also has a certain, and I hate to say it like this, but he is typecasted, and it's because of the way he looks.
I was about to say that it's all the way. I happen to think it's just because of the way Bill Duke looks and the way Morgan Freeman looks.
Right.
Morgan Freeman looks like. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean, look at Machete. God, I can never remember his actual name.
Danny Trejo.
Trejo, thank you. He's a fantastic actor. Used to be an actual gang member, like hardcore, and then decided I don't want to do that crap anymore. But look at his roles now. It's Cholo. It's wasn't he in that last Predator movie where they take him into the hunting grounds for the predators? And
I think he was, yeah.
Yeah, he was actually. He was the first one killed.
Yeah, I forget the name of that actual Predator.
It was Predators.
With an S,
Predators.
plural.
Okay.
Like their version of Aliens.
But he is typecast. He is typecasted specifically for how he looks, and that's how the industry works. There are what's his name? Brian Dennehy. He's another one. Bill Patton Oswalt. Patton Oswalt. The comedian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're character actors, and they're the fat, funny friends. Danny Trejo is the scary Mexican with a lady tattooed on his entire chest. There's no way that you're going to make a romantic comedy with him. Bill Duke is the same way.
I'm actually really glad you brought in Danny Trejo. So if you guys haven't yet, I highly recommend going out and seeing the remake of Halloween done by Rob Zombie. Danny Trejo is in that movie. And
really?
In that movie, yeah, Danny Trejo is in that movie. And yes, he does play a Mexican who has been in prison at one point in his life. But but he's now out, he's reformed, and he works at the mental institution where Michael Myers grows up. And I am telling you right now, it is Danny Trejo like you've never seen him before. He is kind, he is good to Danny or to Michael, and it's his story arc in that movie actually is heartbreaking. He isn't in it for very long, but he is the exact opposite of Danny Trejo in any movie that involves him in knives, basically.
Mm.
And I tend to think that if you give actors like that have been given those typecasted like lots in life a chance, an opportunity, more often than not, you will be surprised. I think if you give Bill Duke a Morgan Freeman type role, he might surprise you.
Oh, I most definitely think he would.
Just the same way I think if you give like I don't know if either of you guys have seen JCVD with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Not yet, no.
Yes.
Yo, that a great movie, right?
Oh, it's fantastic. His monologue in itself, goddamn.
Oh my god, that was such a great scene.
Actually, I would highly recommend that, Alex. Even if it's like,
I've recommended it to him more than once. But yeah, you took a chance on an action hero, and I'm saying this, and they should probably do they probably have done this with Schwarzenegger and Maggie, and they probably should do this with Stallone and anything that's actually good. You take a chance on them, and some of them might actually surprise you.
Yeah, no, definitely, and I'm not saying that's not true at all. I mean, I actually can't think of a character to.
Out of this whole conversation, all I got was a desire to see Danny Trejo now in a rom-com.
You can make it work. I think you can.
Do you want to?
You know how?
Do you want to know how?
You know how you do that? You steer into the fact that he's typecast in those roles. You don't shy away from the fact that he's the mean cholo in every movie you see. You make a romantic comedy about a mean cholo.
Well, what you would have to do is kind of make it like the what's the movie where he's the old guy kicking ass? Badass, yeah. So you make it like that, and then you add in the rom-com kind of stuff to it, and you make that woman break down those defenses and those walls that he has.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's simple.
Yeah. I met the Glow Girls. You remember the Glow Girls? The Glow?
I don't remember.
Mario, you here?
Yeah.
Do you remember Glow? The gorgeous ladies of wrestling?
Oh God, yes.
I met like 5-6 of them at DragCon.
Wait. I have a suggestion for you then. Since you bring that up.
Yes.
WWE Studios produced a film. It's about a French woman, a mom who's I think fighting for custody of her kids, trying to connect with her son, and her son happens to take an incredibly, he happens to be a really big fan of professional wrestling. And like any good comedy now goes, of course, it's predictably she starts to actually learn how to wrestle in the hopes that one day she'll become a big WWE star. I know it doesn't seem like a really quality film or a cult classic, but it's a foreign film done by French talent that's under the radar, and I thought that might be something interesting to watch. What the hell is that noise?
Mario, are you still there?
I'm here.
You got some weird shit going on over there, man.
It's probably traffic going by.
Okay.
It doesn't sound like traffic. It sounds like a prolonged something's up with your wires over there, I think.
How?
Like it's a long, like ringing noise.
Hold on. I don't hear anything. Like, I took my headphones off. I don't hear anything.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll do one of my favorite movies of all time.
Das Boot.
No, actually, that's on the list to watch, but I haven't watched that yet.
Jesus.
It is, well, the American version is called The Professional. It's Jean Reno, Natalie Portman, what's his face, who played Commissioner Gordon in the last set of Batman movies?
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman, yes, thank you.
Bruce Jenner.
Caitlyn.
And then Danny Aiello is also in it. This is
Professional.
Yes, The Professional. This is actually, I think, Natalie Portman's best film. Although I will admit that I haven't seen Black Swan.
Leon the Professional.
Leon the Professional.
Okay, cool. I'm down for The Professional. I've already seen it, so I know like multiple
Well,
times.
well, there's two versions of it. There's the American version, which is called The Professional, and then there's the European version, which is called Leon,
So
which
clearly, we're going to watch the American version because it's superior. It's American.
you can choose to watch whatever version you want. If you want to broaden your horizons and watch the European version, which delves more into the characters, then go ahead and do that. If you want to just watch the ones with flashy noises and flashy lights and loud noises, then go ahead and watch the American version.
Alex, American versions are always better. It's American.
If that's what you want to believe.
America.
I actually prefer the non-American version.
The European, I do as well.
I'm patriotic.
I used to have that on DVD. I don't know if I still do. I have to dig through my meager DVD collection and see what I have.
Well, it's funny. A friend of mine who actually just recently moved to New York, she was watching it, and I'm like, oh, I haven't seen a movie in a while, so I just sat down and I just started to watch it again. Fucking Christ, this is a good movie.
Yeah. And it's set in New York too, so Jamal, you should love it because it's New York
and American,
and it shows parts of New York that you don't even see. I didn't even realize there was a cable car in New York.
We really need to get to a point where like the audience suggests movies. Where can they go to do that?
If anybody wants to go ahead and suggest a movie or see any of the show notes and see the movies that we have talked about, you can go over to mof.ninja. That's MOF for Makers on Film .ninja, like the karate expert.
Yeah.
Like if you know your history, those are the guys that the samurai thought were without honor and their mortal enemy.
Basically, we're just trying to get you to leave a message.
The mighty moats.
Yeah.
Yes, that
leave a message. Talk to us. You never write. You never call. We don't know what's up with you. We're worried.
Please leave a message. Let us know what you think of the show, good, bad, or other.
Honestly, if anybody wants to get a hold of me, I'm at purpletoaster7@gmail. You guys are more than welcome to email me.
He'll give you $1.
Go ahead and inundate Mario's email with spam. Now
complain about what he says about Forrest Whitaker.
If anybody spams me, I'm going to be so angry.
You can also go ahead and complain to Mario personally about any use of the N-word. Anybody who may have a lazy eye who wants to settle up with Mario. Forrest Whitaker, if you're listening to the show, you have now Mario's email address. You can directly apply all your complaints right to him.
And if you have acting jobs for me, just leave it in the comment section. I'll find it.
Wait, so how many people have, how many types of people have I officially pissed off, do you think?
All the types. Well, I'll tell you that you pissed off the Polish community because I don't like you.
whatever. You pissed off the Booga Booga Island people because I don't like you now either.
Yes, the large demographic that listens to us of the Booga Booga Island.
All the residents of Skull Island are incredibly offended.
Okay, so I've got the Polacks, I've got the Boogas.
The Boogoos.
Women.
I swear to God,
women, African Americans.
Billy Ray Cyrus fans at one point in time. This is only episode 6 right now.
People, anybody who believes in God.
You claim Latino descent, and in doing so, you've offended them.
The Asians, because you claim to be Asian as well.
That's right.
You've offended them as well.
The Mexicans, the blacks after today somehow.
Maybe it's because you call them the blacks.
I said the whites as well.
Oh, you said how old I sounded in the last episode because I used to say stuff, because I say stuff like the YouTube.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. I say that too.
I was listening to the show because I have to edit it, so I listened to it 6 or 7 times. There is multiple times that Jamal says the phrase "kids these days."
I'm pretty sure I say the Facebook as well a few times.
You say the Facebook, but you're like, kids these days. I don't know what their deal is. You might as well be 90.
Like 27.
I'm like,
I think he's the youngest out of all of us, and he sounds the oldest.
No. When
Where's my Jericho?
I was thinking about this while we were recording this episode. The beginning of this episode sounds like Mario complaining about back in the day. Like he sounds old in this episode, so we all sound old. All right, there's a real gap between us and like the people from 4 years ago, like 4 years younger. Don't feel bad at all.
But see, there's a difference in between me hating like a certain age group and to me hating everybody.
No, you straight up like
I just hate everybody.
Like you straight up like in this episode say, back when we were kids, we grew up in a different generation, a different time. You sound like my granddad.
Okay, think about it like this. Okay, in the last, I'm 26. 10 years ago, it was not illegal to be brown in Arizona. It was not illegal to be gay in most of the states. It was not illegal to have weed in most of the states. Within the last decade, all of these things have changed, and more is going to progress. More is going to change. So when I say in the 20 years ago, that was my lifetime ago that something had changed, and I'm still young. You're still young. Alex, you're old as fuck. But
this is true.
But within our lifetime, Mr. Jamal, and a good chunk of Alex's life, these things have changed the way that we view the world.
No, you're proving my point for me though. The world is changing so fast now that there is a huge difference between 5 years makes a huge difference. Like a 28-year-old and a 23-year-old probably have a hard time relating to each other nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, which is weird because I feel like they're right when they say 40 is the new 30 because you see people out there doing crazy things into their 40s. But still, I mean, no matter how many 18-year-olds that they surround themselves with, there's quite a few things that they just cannot meet a common ground on.
So when I was a young lad, we used to tie an onion to our belts, but we couldn't get the white onions. We couldn't get the white onions because of the war, so we had to go with the purple onions. Now I would take the train from Shelbyville, and that only cost a nickel. Now nickels were called bumblebees back in the day.
Hey!
Give me 5 bumblebees for $1.
Oh my God. Ask Alex when he went to prom. Remember when the Challenger exploded on takeoff? Yeah, it was about 4 or 5 years before that.
When did the Challenger explode on takeoff?
1987.
I went to prom in 1992. No, I'm sorry, 1991. That's when I graduated from high school. So I went to prom probably 90, 91, whatever.
Okay.
So there you go. That is a little clue as to how old I am. Nobody has guessed properly my age yet.
You graduated in 1991.
1991.
1991 minus 18.
Yes, if you want to do simple math, by all means, leave a
91.
I like how it's not a number. It's just 1991 minus 18 because I can't math right
now. So you were born in 1973. That would make you 40. Jesus Christ, you're in your 40s.
Yeah.
I thought you were younger than that.
No.
Yeah, everybody thinks I'm older than that. And if I shave,
I met Alex when he was 36.
Something like that.
I think I met you when you were 37. I didn't realize time had flown.
Yeah, and when I shave, I look even younger. And when I ferry around these kids, these sorority girls and these fraternity guys, they ask me what classes I'm taking. They ask me if I'm going to the U of A, and I'm like, no, dude, I
You do realize senior citizens take classes too, right? It's never too late to go back.
Well, you have a future when you fail at acting in the next 10 minutes.
Jesus Christ, what was that for? I was just trying to help you out there. I was trying to rationalize why they were doing that to you. That was just cruel. I mean, where did that come from? Folks, please go to mof.ninja. Leave a message supporting me and
no, fuck that. No, Jamal,
decrying that.
Okay,
No,
okay,
don't
yes.
take the audience in on this.
Go to MOF Ninja. If I was out of line, tell me I was out of line. If I
Tell
wasn't
me
out
he's
of line, say I was perfectly within my right to say that to Jamal. I've had a little bit of tequila in me, so at this point I'll say anything.
You're about to have a little bit of Jamal foot up your ass too.
Oh, Jamal, stop with the foreplay. I posted the quick change, the 6th episode, quote unquote 6. It's really 7 because our origins is considered 0. So
But
that episode I posted Monday. What is today? Tuesday. It has already got 59 views. For the month of June, we already had 107 people listen to the show, various episodes.
That is awesome, folks. Thank you so much.
So I do want to say thank you to all the people who are listening to us, all our regulars. I really do. What?
I said except Jim. Fuck that guy.
Except Jim. Fuck that guy.
Except Jim. I even thank my brother, Mike, who doesn't go by Mike, but thank you for listening, and thank you for your comments. We've had 445 people listen in the month of May. We debuted in May on May 4th.
Who are you people?
You're awesome, and that's what you
Why do you think that we're funny?
Thank you for listening to the show.
You guys are awesome.
Anybody who's left. On behalf of Mario I. Silvas and Joel Alexander, I do thank you for tuning in and listening to the show. It is you.
Mention me first from now on.
What?
Why do you always mention his name first?
Because I'm better.
I know.
No, fuck you, because I'm bigger, I'm browner.
You know what? You can't tell whether or not you're browner.
Okay, in the immortal words of Jamal, America is better. Mario was born in America, so he comes first.
Oh,
No. I was born on American territory. That makes me American, sir.
Wait, were you born in the continental United States?
Not continental, but neither are
neither
are Alaskans or Hawaiians.
Were you born in Alaska?
Are people born? No.
Were you born in Hawaii?
No.
You weren't born in America.
Yeah, you kind of dropped.
Whoa. Tell that to all the people. Tell that to all the people born on military bases all around the world. They're gonna let you know about it when they go to mof.ninja and leave a comment about it.
They can go ahead and do that, but were you born on a military base?
No, I was born on an American territory.
See, American military bases are considered American soil, not
so
American
was where
territory.
I was born.
I never heard of it. You know what? There are 50 stars, 13 stripes. The 13 stripes are the original 13
and
colonies.
And one asshole telling me I'm not American.
13 stripes are the original 13 colonies. The 50 stars are the 50 states. That's America. Where do you fit in on the flag again?
You know the problem with podcast is you can't hear a finger.
You can't hear what?
You can't hear a finger being raised.
Well, I'll tell you what. You send me a selfie of you raising the finger, and I'll definitely put that on the website.
That's happening.
Do it.
Okay.
Well, thank you guys for joining us.
It's just going to be a brown square.
Again,
You're going to say.
Again, you can't tell what color it is. Why are you keep bringing it up?
There are pictures of you two on the website.
And how is he going to sit there and tell me that he's the browner of the two of us?
Because I am.
He was born in America.
Join the makers each week as they discuss film, TV, and pop culture. To learn more about them, go to mof.ninja. This is Jason Statham saying goodbye.